Have you ever noticed how the things we know best are often the things we understand least? Think about Psalm 23. We've carved it into headstone. We've printed it on bookmarks. It's become the background noise of our religious lives. But here's the problem. When something becomes familiar, it becomes safe. And if there is one thing I've learned in 20 years of studying the Hebrew text, it's this. Psalm 23 was never meant to be safe. In the original language, this isn't a sleepy poem. It's a legal manifesto. It's a declaration of war against despair. I'll be honest with you, for a long time, I struggled with the Sunday school version of this psalm. It felt too soft for a world that feels so hard. But when I began to peel back the English translation and look at the ancient Near Eastern reality David was actually writing, everything changed. I am Pastor Najam, and welcome to Understanding the Word. Today, we aren't just reciting lines. We are performing a linguistic excavation to find the power we've been missing. Let's go deeper. The psalm starts with two words that change your legal standing in the universe.
Yehovah.
Now we translate that as the Lord is my shepherd. It's beautiful, but in the ancient world, being a shepherd wasn't just a job description. It was a legal category. Here's the part most people miss. In ancient Middle Eastern law, long before the formal codes we see later, a shepherd was a beli. That's a legal term. It means he was 100% responsible for the property in his care. If a sheep was lost, the shepherd owed the owner. If a sheep was hurt, it was the shepherd's debt. In the Code of Hammurabi, specific laws dictated the shepherd's liability. When David says, "The Lord is my shepherd," he isn't just being poetic. He's making a legal claim. He's saying, I have officially transferred the liability for my life over to the creator of the stars. Think about that for a second. Let that sit for a moment. If God is the shepherd, then your survival is no longer your legal responsibility. It's His. It shifts the burden from your shoulders to His. From a Jewish perspective, this is a suzerain-vassal bond. The great king has signed a contract to keep you alive. Does that change how you breathe today? It should. Let's look at the structure of this name.
Yehovah.
The Tetragrammaton. It is the name of absolute self-existence. When you attach Rai to it, you are saying the eternal, unchanging one has personally volunteered to be responsible for your next meal, your next breath, and your final safety. This isn't a vague cosmic care. It is an intimate, legally binding devotion. Then comes the phrase, Lo Echsar, I shall not want. In our modern world, we think of want as a wish list. I want a better car, I want a bigger house. But the Hebrew root here, chaser, refers to a structural deficit. It means a hole, a lack of something essential. The grammar here is an absolute negation. Not later, not someday, now. In the Hebrew text itself, David is saying that in the presence of this specific shepherd, the very concept of lack is a mathematical impossibility. It's not that you'll have everything you desire, it's that you have everything you need for the step you're taking right now. I wrestled with this during the lean years of my ministry. I'd look at my bank account and say, Lord, I feel like I'm lacking. But the text stood its ground. It forced me to ask, do I have enough for today's grace? The answer was always yes. The shepherd doesn't give you a warehouse of grace for the next 10 years. He gives you a table for today, and today is enough. If we look at the wilderness wandering of the Israelites, they had manna daily. They couldn't store it. They had to trust the shepherd's timing. Lo Echsar is the heartbeat of that trust. He leads me beside still waters. If you've ever been to the Judean wilderness, and I mean the actual dust-choked, sun-scorched desert, you know that water isn't just sitting around in beautiful, still ponds. It's usually rushing through dangerous ravines after a rain. The Hebrew word is menuchat. It's plural. It means resting places. Sheep are top-heavy. They're nervous. If water is moving too fast, they won't drink. They're afraid they'll fall in and their wool will pull them under. So what does a real shepherd do? He doesn't just find water. He makes the water still. He moves the rocks. He digs a small diversion. He engineers a place of repose. Here's the insight. God isn't just looking for peace for you. He is actively re-engineering your environment so that peace is possible. He is the architect of your rest. Stop and consider that. He's moving the rocks in your life right now just so you can drink safely. He isn't just leading you to water. He is creating the conditions where your soul can finally settle. He restores my soul. Yesavesh nafshi. The root word is shav. It means to turn back, to return to the original state. Now there's a common story about cast sheep that flip onto their backs and can't get up. While that's a powerful image, the scholarly weight of shav is even deeper. It's about ontological restoration. This used to confuse. I thought restoring the soul meant making me feel happy. But in the biblical context, the nephesh, the soul, is your entire being, your breath, your vitality. David is saying that when life defrocks you, when the world grinds your purpose into the dust, the shepherd reaches down and retethers your soul to its divine source. He brings you back to the factory settings of your creation. He doesn't just patch you up. He returns you to who you were meant to be before the world broke you. Think of the intertextuality here. In Ezekiel 34, God critiques the leaders who failed to shove the straying. He promises, I myself will search for my sheep and look after them. This restoration isn't a polite suggestion. It is a forceful, loving rescue. This is the part of the journey where the grammar changes. And if you miss the grammar, you miss the heart of the psalm. Up until verse 4, David is talking about God. He leads me. He restores me. It's like a lecture. It's objective. But then, the shadows grow long. The valley of Tizalmavet, deep darkness, appears. And suddenly, David stops talking about God and starts talking to, for you are with me. Why would that matter? Because you don't need a lecture in the dark. You need a presence. The Hebrew structure suggests that the valley isn't a detour. It's the path. But it's the only place where the he of theology becomes the you of intimacy. If you are in a dark place right now, maybe, just maybe, it's because God wanted to move from being a subject in your head to a companion at your side. Let's talk about that rod and staff, the shevet and the mishenet. One is for protection against predators, the other is for guidance and leaning. They comfort David because they represent both the strength to fight and the support to endure. They are the symbols of the shepherd's dual nature, warrior and caretaker. He prepares a table before me in the presence of my enemies. This is the most Middle Eastern moment in the Bible. In that culture, if a king invited you to his table, you were under his covenant of salt. You were untouchable. Notice the setting. The enemies are still there. They haven't been destroyed yet. They are standing on the perimeter, snarling, watching. But they can't touch you. Why? Because the shepherd has declared this ground a sanctuary zone. He anoints your head with oil. In the ancient world, this was the sign of an honored guest. It was a message to the world that this person belongs to the king. God doesn't wait for your problems to disappear before he blesses you. He blesses you right in front of them. He invites you to feast while the battle is still raging. That is the definition of divine sovereignty. We're almost at the end, but don't skip this. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life. In English, follow sounds like a shadow, it's passive, but the Hebrew word is yerdefuni. Everywhere else in the Bible, radef is used for hunting. It's what an army does to a fleeing enemy. It's what a predator does to prey. It's an aggressive, relentless pursuit. David is flipping the language. He's saying, I used to be hunted by my enemies. I used to be pursued by my past, but now I am being hunted by the goodness of God. You cannot outrun his mercy. You can try to hide, you can try to fail, you can try to wander. But the hesed, the unfailing covenant love of God, is in hot pursuit of you. It's divine stalking. Let that sit for a moment. You aren't chasing the blessing. The blessing is chasing you. And I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. The Hebrew word for dwell here is yashev, but it carries the weight of shav, returning. It's the homecoming. We started this journey with a legal contract in verse 1, and we ended in a family home in verse 6. Think about the structure of this entire revelation. We begin with the name
Yehovah,
the name that Moses heard at the burning bush, the name that signifies eternal existence. We move from that cosmic name to the intimate reality of a table. We move from the wilderness to the palace. This is the story of the entire Bible condensed into 6 verses. It is the story of the shepherd who leaves the 99 to find the one, and then hosts a banquet for the found. Consider the implications of dwelling. In the ancient Jewish mindset, to dwell in the house of the Lord was to be in the tabernacle, in the very presence of the Shekinah glory. This isn't just a future hope of heaven. It is a current reality of abiding. As we close, I want to ask you something. I want you to think about this, not as a scholar, but as a human being. Which part of the cipher do you need today? Do you need the legal guardian to take your liability? Do you need the divine engineer to still the waters? Do you need the restorer to pick you up from being cast? Or do you just need to stop running and let his mercy finally catch up to you? The shepherd is here, the table is set, and the house is open. I am Pastor Najim. Thank you for walking this path with me. I'll see you in the Word.